All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Unique Adventurez. We are out here doing that Ruckus Campground review for you. We've already done uh, 200 through 288. Now we're going to go to the first part of the park, RV sites 1 through 52, to give you that perspective, so you know what to expect before you get here. So, Taidnapam, this is the main side of the park. And we're going to start off with number one here. Number one is a fairly deep, a little bit elevated site here. You're probably doing 30 feet in here without a problem. Number two looks to be one of these little horseshoey pull-out things. I'd say if you backed into this spot, you could probably do 30 feet. It's actually fairly long, and you got that fire pit over there. Site number 4 there. I'm thinking that what's in there now is at least 25 feet. So I'm thinking you could do 30 feet in there as well. Remember, this is the Tacoma Public Utilities Campground. We've mentioned before in some of our other vlogs and stuff that some of the ways they designate which vehicles can go where, because on the website you have to tell it, what your size is. Are you under 32? Are you under 18? That type of thing, 18 feet, and then it will tell you what you're available for. So I'm assuming some of these pull-through sites are going to be a little bit suspicious and telling you exactly what you can and can't get into. So site number 3, another pull-through. Looks like the pull-throughs are pretty dominant on the outside. I'm still thinking, depending on how this person in number 6 does here, probably 25. You can still get like 25 feet in there, I think, and then park on the back side, and that's probably going to be your best bet with most of these pull-throughs. Number 5, very deep site. It's a handicapped site. You got to have that placard to be able to be there. That's 30 feet all day long. Number 6, this is another pull through. This one is long, and I think the longer it is, and it's got a good arc to it, so I'm pretty sure you could do 30, 35 feet in here if you feathered it just right. Yeah, it's fairly big. And so let's keep going. Number 7 is another handicap accessible site. This one, yeah, it goes back pretty far. I'd say another 25, 30 feet. And site number 8 here, yeah, it's these pull-throughs are a little bit better set up, at least some of these are, than the other side. I think you could probably maneuver that fairly easy with a big trailer, 30 feet or so. Number 9's got a little bit of an incline, but that pad length is deep. Number 9, I'm going to say right now, you could probably fit at least 35, 40 feet in there. I do not see a problem with it. That's a deep site. And number 10 over here, it's got look at these guys, got their nice little hammock up here. These guys are living their best life right now with their GeoPro and having a good time here. I think you could back into this site though, and it would be just fine. You could probably be doing 25, 30 feet. Number 11 here, it's another fairly deep site. This thing is huge. I'm saying 35, 40 plus. I mean, I don't know what the pad length is on this, but it looks big. You could fit some monster stuff in number 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to 12 to 18. As you see the sign, 12 through 18 go this way, 19 through 52 on the outside edge. So we're going to go hit these ones first, and then we'll come back around and catch everything else. So 12, another deep site. Deep site, 40 plus feet, looks fairly level. That's a great looking site. 13, it's a pull through. You might be close cutting it coming back out of it. I don't know, you could probably do 30 feet in here, 25, 30 feet. Obviously, in these pull-throughs, doing that much, you know, buyer beware at that point. You need to make sure you know what you're doing to be able to clear those corners. But I think you can do it. Looks like, I'm not sure if we talked about 14. 14 looks a little bit shorter. It looks like it really could be an 18 to 20 foot site. It's also a disabled site. 15 also is a disabled site, but that thing goes back a mile. That's 30 plus feet right there. That looks good. Got the extra pad on the side there. So we got 15, 16. You could probably back into this here. I would say at least 30 feet is pretty big. You got that incline on the other side there. So maybe a little bit smaller because you don't want to bury your jack all the way down. That would be my only peeve there, or unless you went straight forward, but I don't think they're going to want you to do that. So this site might be a little bit more tricky to maneuver into, but you know, not too bad if you can stay on this flat spot here. 17, that looks like a 20 to 25 foot trailer. So I'm going to say 30 feet can fit into that site. 17 looks good. And let's come up here to 18. 18's a deeper. That's, you could fit 30 feet in there. It's got a little bit of an incline. You could go back. That's easy 30 feet plus. Your recreation area there with the fire pit and stuff is a little bit smaller in 18, but not bad. So now we're going to do another lap around and catch back around with the rest of the park. Obviously, we're going by sites that we are going to be looking at, but we are not going to be telling you about them until we hit that full loop. We're going to try to go in sequential order on this one. But make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure that, you know, drop us a comment. Tell us what you think about these Ruckus reviews. If you got any pointers or any tips or anything like that to help make this experience better for you guys, or if you guys got some questions about this park, let me know in the comments. That helps, you know, support our channel, lets us know what you want to see, and we want to be able to give you guys the best content possible. So, you know, make sure you let us know. Make sure you're also subscribed if you're not. That obviously does help us, you know, with YouTube and everything else. And yeah, so we're gonna whiz back up through here real quick, and we're gonna do the big long loop. We're gonna start at 19 and go through it. There's a couple of cool spots on the top side here. I think are really cool. And they're a little bit more away from everything. Obviously, you're on this outer loop, but you definitely, from what I understand, with this park and then the other one, you want to be on that outside edge. That's going to give you the most. That's going to give you the most privacy and, you know, less traffic. So 19. Let's take a look at this thing. This site. Obviously, you're going to back into this, but you could fit a monster of a trailer, 30, 35 feet. I think you could fit into that, and then park your rig, like, you know, park your tow vehicle like right there. But I don't know what the site says, but I'm telling you, you can fit 30 feet in there. And these sites here on this outside edge, you know, you got a little bit of privacy, got a little bit of that wood area there. Looks like site number 20 here. It's got this same nice curvature arc here. This is at least a 30-foot trailer, and looks good in there too. Looking at site number 22. 22 is, it's a deep one. I'd say probably in that 30-foot window there. It's got a good grade, got a little bit downgrade here in the front. And then 21. This is one you're going to want to be a little bit smaller into. It does got a wide arc, but there's a lot of trees in there. I'm not sure how much I'd want to contend with all that. I'd say maybe 25, 30 feet maybe. I'd be more in the 25. You can see where their slide is pretty close there. You'd either have to back out of this. I don't think you'd pull through. I'm not sure. Also depends on what your trailer maneuverability skills are as well. So, but you're definitely insulated in the side here, which is cool, especially during the summer. Having all this tree cover is amazing. Um, so we got site number 23 here. This here looks like my buddy's trailer. It is not his trailer, but it sure looks like it. 23. That's a 30-foot trailer if it is my buddy's trailer. And yeah, so 30, 35 feet in there all day long. 24. It goes back a little ways. You're probably 25 feet or so. It's hard for me to gauge because they got this boat all up in here. 25. I'd say another 30 foot. It looks like it kind of comes up a little bit on the end there. So we got 26 and 27. These are like a group spot here. This is these aren't bad sites here. Depending on how big each one of your rigs were. Oh, look at that. Got a deer off in the distance there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to pull forward there, right between these two trees there. There's a deer hanging out. So definitely got the wildlife around here. My son said he saw an elk earlier today. So definitely stuff here. But depending on how far back you can get each one of these, it's really going to depend on what size rig you can fit in here. I'd say if you guys both had 20 to 25 footers, you probably are going to be okay. Anything bigger than that, eh. But of course, if you're booking these sites singly, you kind of take your own risk knowing who's going to be in the other spot. But at least it's a group spot. You know, if you wanted to camp with some people and these two were available, you could hook that up for sure. All right. So it looks like spot number 29 here. It looks like it goes back fairly deep there. I'd say probably 25, 30 feet in there. It's got a little bit of a dip down, but not bad. Site number 30. At least with these pull-throughs here, they did them more traditionally, a little bit longer, a little bit less curvature, makes them easier to get into. This guy had to do a little bit of jockeying to get into here, but so whatever this is, I'm saying this is probably 25, 26 feet or so. Should be fine in here. 28 is long. You could get a 30-foot trailer in there all day long and still have room for your tow vehicle. So that's it, and that looks like a good level spot there. Now, let's talk about this. So this is a great reason to come do these reviews. So you've got site number 31, you've got site number 32, and you've got site number 34. 3 sites stacked back to back to back. If you had 3 people that were, a group of 3 that were camping with you, this would be great. If you had a camp, had 2 people with you, 32 and 34 would be awesome. But 31's kind of the lonely duck here, and you're really close to everybody. And it's not really that deep either. You'd probably be a 20 foot, 18 to 20 foot in there. I'm not sure how much farther back you could go because it berms up there. So 31 looks like the ugly duck of these spots here. It's a little crazy. Now 33, this site is huge. You're probably going to want to, you could either back or pull in here. I'm thinking you could easily fit 30 to 35, 40 feet in here if you backed in and you knew what you were doing, because then you could keep clear of this box here and still have room for your slides. That's a good spot, and it's got a wide pull through on it, so that's the good stuff. All right, and we're coming up to 35 here, and so this one hasn't quite got the best angle. You're probably 25 feet. If you backed into this here and kind of kicked it off a little bit, I'd say, yeah, 25, 30 feet. I think you'd be okay in that, and you got your own little area there, which is not bad. 36, kind of you're dipping down here a little bit, And then you got the hard hook out. This thing's probably in that 28 to 30 foot range here, and it fits in here just nicely. Um, didn't look like you had much problem getting in there, so that's good. Now here's where things are going to start to get a little bit interesting on your left hand side here. 37. This is probably, I don't know, probably 25 foot, 25, 30 foot fifth wheel. I'm not sure if they're probably going to say that you can fit that in here just because of the downward slope here. So I would say probably not much more than 25 feet or so, 25, 30 feet maybe. Just because you're going to run into that slope, you're going to want to make sure you have some super chalk going on to make sure you don't maneuver off of that. So site 38, I think you're going to want to back. Well, no, you could. Oh man, I don't know. The site is just weird. It hooks down, it dips, it hooks. You back up. I'd say 25, 30 feet. Anything much longer than that, if you're coming back here, you might get to a point where you're bottoming out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird spot. Oh, and there's no sewer at this spot. So there are sites at this side that don't have all the amenities, so kind of keep that in mind. So 39, another one of these dip ones. This looks like probably a 20 foot, 22 foot trailer there. So you could probably do 30 feet in there. You'd have that little dip there that you'd have to contend with. I'd say you could probably do 30 feet in there, no problem. Site number 40. This thing is huge, 40, 45 feet all day long. This site is really big, and it looks to be very level and also looks to be heavily guarded as well. All right, so we got 41 and 43. These sites here look like they're tandem spots, so you're probably going to want to make sure that you're with somebody. For a little group spot on that one, but not necessarily that bad though. I'd say probably 20, 25 feet in there. And site number 42 looks like another long pull through. Looks longer on the back side here. So yeah, you're probably 30. Yeah, this thing's at least 30 feet long. You could probably do 30, 35. That's a huge grand design there. Looking good. Site number 44. This one, it looks fairly long. You definitely do have the raise that comes up there. And definitely do have the raise that comes up there. It's probably about, I don't know if I would put anything larger than 25 in here, just because you're going to start contending with coming back up that slant a little bit, and you may have to bury your front jack. I mean, obviously you can come as forward as you want, but you don't want to be on that lip. So kind of buyer beware on that one. But if you had a smaller trailer, it's definitely deep enough for sure. So good times. All right, so 45 and 46. We actually, last year, for our guys camping weekend, we actually have these two sites, and this worked out great. This is probably one of the better group spots I found. We had a nice little communal area in the middle here. We fit our 30-foot trailers in here with ease, with no problems. You probably could have gone 35 into both of these spots and been okay. Actually, especially more into 45. You could probably do your longer rig here and your shorter rig into 46. It was a great spot. We had a blast that weekend. But yeah. And 47. 47, this spot's a little bit weird. So I probably wouldn't do anything more than 20, 25 feet in here. You're going to have to contend with coming back down there. It depends on your comfort level. I mean, obviously, I think it's big enough to fit 30, 35, but then you got the front end of your trailer going down that hill. You better hope your chalk system and everything is like airtight, because if it's not, I don't know. I'd be a little bit leery with anything bigger than that at this site specifically. Obviously, smaller in these sites would be better. 40, site number 48 here. Site number 48, you come back here. It's got a little bit of a dip down. This might be one of those sites where they tell you, oh, you can only fit 18 feet in. And, you know, I'm thinking 25, 30 feet you could fit. You're just going to have to make sure you account for that downhill slope a little bit, you know. Make sure you got a good chalk system. 49. Let me see here. 49. This side is actually, I think it'd be all right here. I think you could do 25 feet and kind of 25, 30, 35 feet and kind of cut that corner a little bit. And yeah, I think you would be, I honestly think you'd be okay in that spot. And still be okay as long as you're on this part of the level here, and not backed up onto this part that's elevated here. So that wouldn't be too bad. Says no sewer, but there's a sewer line there, so okay. Site number 50. Oh, this is 30, 35 feet all day long. This is a nice deep spot. And 51 is the last pull through here. Yeah, I'd say in that 30-foot range you should be okay. 25, I don't know. They put this little berm here to detract people from trying to hook that corner. Maybe, I'm not sure. So yeah, maybe you wouldn't want to have anything really big in there. Plus, it also outlets like right at the dump station. So you're gonna watch people empty their dump. That's the view you're gonna get while you're here. So I'm not sure on 51 here. I mean, it looks okay. You're just gonna have an interesting view. And then you got site number 52. This one here looks good for probably at least 30 feet. We got a little bit of an uphill there. It's not a bad looking spot. Obviously, you don't have a lot of privacy with that there, but hey, it's a good looking site. So, you know, the sites here are actually really nice. I love all the greenery. I love all the trees, and I'm not a big tree guy, and I think it's nice it's kind of nestled in here. This location would be stupid prime during the summertime when it's extremely hot and you got all this shade cover. It's great. We're here in August right now, and you know, having that shade all day long, it is nice. You're not completely sweating everything off. It's been a great campground. I would definitely highly recommend, if you can get down to here, check this place out. It's a great campground. At the time of recording, $37 a night for full hookups plus your reservation fee. So yeah, so make sure you hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you leave a comment and all those things. And we will catch you on the next Ruckus review next time. All right, talk to you guys later.